I can see the front gate from here, so I think I got time to knock down a couple more trees. It's a sickness, I tell you. Well guys, all good things must come to an end, and I just got word that they're picking up the KX40 excavator. Paris Tractors brought that out here, and I've had it for going on 2 weeks, but they need to rent it out to someone else today. So I need to hop on that and get a few things done. They said they'll be here around noon, so I got about 3 hours before they come pick it up. And it's been a great machine. It has so much more reach and so much more power than my KX71, which is about a 27 horsepower machine, and that's a 40 horsepower machine. You wouldn't think it makes that much difference, but it does. The only drawback is that it's a little bit big for our woods. So when I'm working in between trees, I gotta be really careful. But I do love using it, and I'm gonna get on it here in a minute. The cows are really vocal this morning. You hear her mooing, that's Charlie. She's mooing because Deb's walking with Bella. But we got multiple projects going on. We're in the middle of filling the pond, so we're on day 3 of 12 hours on, 12 hours off. So I'm running the well for 12 hours, and then I want the aquifer to refresh. So I let it refresh for 12 hours and then run the well for 12 hours. So the pond is filling up. It's probably pushing 18 inches deep right now. And I've also been working in my dad's old shop over here, getting that organized and putting up shelving. So we're making a lot of progress. We still have some big projects left, but I feel like we're chipping away and getting to where we feel somewhat organized after living out here for a year on the property. So far, no purple martins have moved in, but we have had a few migrating ones swoop down and check it out. So we're hopeful. And here's what the pond looks like. With the pond reshaped, even when it's low, it looks way better than it used to when it was low, because the bottom is more even now, and it's probably, well, you can see that's a kitty litter bucket there. So we're almost to the top of the kitty litter bucket. So what we want to do here along the edge of the driveway is get this cleared out like 20 or 30 feet in there, because it's real wild and overgrown. And I did that manually with a chainsaw, that area right there. I did it with a chainsaw and also the forestry mulcher on the mini skid steer. But that's slow going. It's rough on me, it's rough on the equipment. So this is the area here where it's really thick. This has to be done. But up here, I got a little bit done with the KX40 the other day. Probably put 6 hours on it up here. So this came out pretty good. I got a big pile back there, and then I've got a big pile right here. And all that is little pine trees and brush. So we want a little bit of thickness left there for privacy. But in here, we want to be able to look through there and also have something other than brush growing. So get the brush out of there and just have some of these oak trees flourish, and also remove a lot of these little pine trees. You can see that this stand is a little thinner and that one's thicker because it's just crowded with little pine trees. And they're never going to do anything. They just don't have room to grow. So we'll get those little pine trees out of there, wood chip them, use them in the garden, and then have just a nice stand of big healthy pine trees. You can see the difference right there. A stand of nice healthy pine trees to have room to grow versus this thickness right here. Here's where we'll be working today. This is your before shot, and I only have a few hours before they pick up the excavator. But I got some really, really nice big healthy pine trees in there, but also a lot of ground clutter. So we just want to clear that out about 20 or 30 feet back and leave the rest of it wild and thick. And put some fuel in her. I think I'm going to do a video on the cost of the pond and what it costs to renovate it. And keep in mind, the rentals were sponsored by Paris Tractor.
More than a tractor store.
So I don't know what the cost is on this excavator per week, but I do know that the skid steer was $1,100, so I assume this was about the same. But hours wise, I put 32 hours on the skid steer, I think, something like that. And I think I had that going on 2 weeks, and then I've had this for 2 weeks, and I've put about 30 hours on this. Now some of this was in the woods, like 8 hours of that was in the woods. But as far as fuel, I think I'm pushing $500 or so on fuel. I filled up 3 times at about $150, although the fuel went up here recently, so the last fill up was $180. So I would guesstimate around $500 in fuel. So it really wasn't that bad. I got a comment where someone said, you know, paying someone else would save wear and tear on your equipment, but I didn't have a skid steer, so I would have had to use the tractor, and the tractor wouldn't have done what I did with the skid steer. But I have an excavator, so it would have saved 20 or 30 hours on the excavator, but my excavator can't pick up 3,000 pounds, and this one can, and I needed something that could pick up a heavier weight. So I couldn't really do it all with my stuff, but to say it would have been cheaper to have someone else do it is just 100% false, because the quote I had was $10,000, and that didn't include everything. I mean, that still included me doing a lot of work. So definitely saved a lot of money, definitely learned a lot during that pond renovation. And I think personally, I did a better job than anyone else would have. And not because they weren't able to, but because they would have bid the job for, like, you know, 3 days of 2 operators and 8 hours per piece of equipment. And when that time ran out, they would no longer be operating at a profit. So they likely would have overlooked some things or hurried and done some things that I wasn't in a crunch for time for. So I was able to move dirt where it needed to be moved. I had a chance to pile up my dirt and see which was more clay and which was more sand. And that benefit of having that time and not having to turn a profit, in my opinion, led to me doing a better job than anyone else would have, because it would have been like the first guy that built the pond. He bid the pond, he bid it out. He had to rent a huge excavator, and he had to hire 3 dump truck drivers to move the dirt around. And at some point, you know, time is money, or time is losing money, and if he's not making money, then why is he doing it? This is one place where this excavator really shines above ours, and that's in the reach. I've been enjoying going along limbing trees, and ordinarily I'd get on a ladder with a chainsaw and cut these off, and that's probably better for the tree, for it to be cut with a chainsaw. But this is also pretty satisfying too. I don't think you'll ever kill a pine tree by taking a limb off it. If I get the thumb just right, I can crack the limb away from the tree a little bit, like that one. All right, let's try to get behind all this and work it from the back side so we don't track up the lawn. When I got back here, I realized there's a bunch of trees I have to take out right here. I've got 3 cherry trees here, and we're trying to get rid of all the cherry trees on the property because the leaves are poisonous to our cows. And although our cows don't graze here, we don't want, you know, birds taking seeds or whatever from these trees and spreading them. So I want to take those out. And also there is like a little drainage area that comes off our neighbor's high property there, and that's what goes to the pond. And I want to kind of lay this stuff down so that it filters that water before it gets to the pond. I don't want to clear this too much because this is our, you know, privacy screening from our neighbor. So I just want to take out these 3 cherry trees here, a little bit of this underbrush, and then focus more on that side. And I got about 3 hours before they come take my machine away, or they come take their machine back. All right, let's start by knocking down this cherry tree. Easy peasy. I want to make sure I get the roots up. Yeah, it's out by the roots, otherwise it'll grow again. And that's what's real nice about doing this type of work with an excavator instead of coming in here with a chainsaw, is that you're going to be sure to get rid of this stuff. There's another cherry tree in front of me. And kudzu vines that I think you could swing from. Well, I know you could. So just about any work with an excavator is fun, but this is probably my favorite thing to do, is clear out brush. It's just so satisfying how quickly you can just totally change an area. And you can do it with a brush hog, but with a brush hog, you know that you're gonna have to come back and do it again next year. If you get all the roots right with this, it's done. Everything that you knock down, that's the end. One more cherry tree back here. I'm trying not to disturb the pine needles and everything because that's my filter for the water. I topped that cherry tree out and there's another one back here. See, the coolest thing sometimes, that's why we love living out here in the country, there was a little baby bunny right there. When I say baby, it was, you know, not like in the nest still. It was like maybe 8 inches long or so. But it was right there and I thought maybe it was a rat. And I saw it was a bunny and then it ran off over there. Pretty cool to see that. But no matter how careful I am with an excavator, especially this one, because it's so smooth and I think I can get quick with it, sometimes you just miss a tree. I don't even know how it's possible. But right there, I didn't even see that tree. I was over here grubbing out some brush, and when I swung around, I nailed that tree right there, and that could possibly survive. Pines don't like it when their bark is knocked off. They'll send sap and stuff there to fix it, but then it becomes a weak spot, and then that tree is likely to blow over, and that's one of the trees I'm trying to save. I was trying to clean up around this one, and there's so many kudzu roots in here that I just got carried away, but I'm gonna knock down that pine over there. It's kind of small. Here's the big pile that I've got already. This pile's as tall as I am. And it's just from this area right here. Still leaving that thick stuff up there. Got a nice pile of the cherry trees and a lot of the kudzu vines. I'm pulling a lot of them out of here, but I just want to work my way through there and take out the little pine trees and that brush, leave the oak trees, and then that way the water can flow through here, and then this won't look so wild next to the house right there. And also it'll help with Deb mowing, because she can't get close to mow that edge because all that brush was hanging over. That was 8 minutes of working in that area. Totally changed it, but I want to show you the one limb that's keeping this tree from falling down. So I knocked this one down pretty easy and it fell in the open. But that one right there is only hung up in that one limb on that pine tree. And I had the excavator weight all the way to here and it wouldn't push it down. I can probably break it with the hydraulics, but I thought that was interesting that all the weight of that 10,000 pound excavator and it wouldn't push that tree past that limb. But you remember the before picture, I got about half of it cleaned up. Unfortunately, my time with the KX40 is just about over. And if you're worried about that bunny that I saw earlier, I fluffed him again and I want to show you what I created for him. So this is way taller than me. This is like almost 10 foot tall, and that is plenty of habitat for him, plenty of places for him to hide. And that's important to me. I don't want anything to happen to that bunny either. But I'm gonna walk through here and you can see what I got done. This is everything that was thick, vines everywhere. I don't know how many pine trees I took out, little pine trees. Some were standing dead, most of them were alive, but I tried to leave the big ones and I tried not to hit them, but That's the difference between a big 4 or 5 ton excavator like this versus the 3 ton that we have. It's a lot wider, it's got a lot more reach, and all that means that there's a lot more to keep up with when you're in the woods. I did skin up a few trees. I think little gashes like that are no big deal. There are some that are a little worse, but there's plenty of pine trees here, so if 1 or 2 of them have to be taken out later, that'll be fine. My biggest concern was these big legacy trees right here. I didn't want anything to happen to them. I was trying to keep everything in a central pile, but it just became too tedious to weave through these trees, and I was hitting a few of them when I was backing up. So I created a second pile here, and I took down probably 8 or 10 pine trees right here, these little ones. And they look little in diameter, but these things are like 60, 80 feet tall. They are way up there. So when you knock them down, you got to keep dragging them over. So I got a pile of them here that I can chip up, but that's going to be all that I can do, because I got to get this machine at least blown off. It's pretty clean. I washed it the other day, but I also have to top off the fuel for them. But that's going to wrap it up for today's video, folks. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care. I can see the front gate from here, so I think I got time to knock down a couple more trees. It's a sickness, I tell you. Just yank the roots right out of that one. Look, big old taproot gone. All right, now that's gonna wrap up the video, unless you want to stick around and watch me do more of this. It's hard to stop. It's like eating fresh chocolate chip cookies out of the oven. You can't just eat one.